HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Self-Esteem Regime, an action plan for becoming the confident person you were meant to be. By Clarissa Burt with Gary M. Krebs. Forward, Sharon Lecter. Read by Clarissa Burt. This book is dedicated to all of the people who never felt good enough and now, after reading this book, will get up, move on, and never look back. A girl should be two things, classy and fabulous. Coco Chanel. The following is a foreword written by Sharon Lecter. I'm proud to say that I have been friends with Clarissa Burt for some time and have appeared on her fabulous and informative In the Limelight podcast. I can't think of anyone I know who is better suited to write The Self-Esteem Regime. Not only is she classy and talented, she understands the internal turmoil people go through when they suffer from lack of self-confidence. Negativity circulates around us. It strikes us when we are at work, with our families, and even in our interactions with friends, neighbors, and total strangers. The news is a constant source of negativity with its philosophy of, if it bleeds, it leads. It takes a lot to stay positive when we are surrounded by depressing information so much of the time. It requires focus and a true commitment to change, as Clarissa lays out in this book, to counter all of this noise. It is human nature to lament and lean toward the negative. I couldn't agree more with what Clarissa writes in Chapter 4, Replace, on the subject, negative words can inflict an enormous amount of harm on your psyche, especially when they are self-generated in your head. In a sense, your personal inner voice, which is really just noise, turns you into your worst enemy. I would bet many things you think or say aloud about yourself are far worse than anything said to you by people who were angry at you or simply didn't like you. Self-harming internal language must always be replaced. If you are someone who uses negative thought as a survival tactic, give yourself a break. Recognize that your brain may be hardwired to go straight to the downside as a reaction to any circumstance, a phenomenon known as negative bias. This does not have to be a permanent state. Once you recognize when negativity has overtaken your thinking, you can start to become positive by owning that you have the power to influence your thoughts and even replace them. If, however, you continue to remain locked in the negative cycle, life will seem to continuously mistreat you, and the occurrence of bad things happening will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. For instance, I happen to be a worrier. In fact, I would say I'm a champion of worry. A few years ago, I found an explanation of worry that said, to worry is to pray for what you do not want. This simple definition has had a profound impact on my life. When you worry, you focus on a negative outcome and therefore attract negativity. Now when I find myself starting to worry about something, I stop and reframe my thoughts from what I don't want to happen into what I do want to happen. The results of reframing your thoughts from negativity to positivity are magical. By sharing this definition with people around the world, I have seen others change their lives for the positive as well. When you want to build muscle mass, you must train. When you want to learn a new skill, you must train. Improving your self-esteem is about retraining, which isn't all that different from these two things, which is why you must have the self-esteem regime in your arsenal. By listening to this book, you have already taken the first big step in your battle against low self-esteem and set forth on your journey toward achieving success and happiness. You now have Clarissa Burt as an ally by your side, providing helpful tips, powerful encouragement, and supportive affirmations to help you defeat your inner demons. Consider her your personal coach, cheerleader, counselor, big sister, and best friend, all rolled into one beautiful package. As your self-esteem increases, you will see others attracted to you naturally as a result of your new habits and attitude of positivity. You will become a beacon of light by standing in your power and, as a result, you will attract others who want to add their lights to yours. Thank you, Clarissa, for providing such a beautiful guide for all of us to chart a course for a more beautiful future. I end every episode of my daily ATMs abundance, tips, and mentorship by telling the listeners that they are fabulous. Please look into the mirror and tell yourself, I am fabulous. And hear me saying, yes, you are. To your success, Sharon Lechter, author of Think and Grow Rich for Women, co-author of Exit Rich, 3 Feet from Gold, Outwitting the Devil, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and 14 other books in the Rich Dad series. Acknowledgements. I'd like to acknowledge the millions of people all over the world who have been abandoned, abused, beaten, hit, struck, oppressed, depressed, distressed, held back, lied to, cheated on, lost, betrayed, deceived, misled, double-crossed, walked out on, stabbed in the back, sold down the river, stolen from, deserted, discarded, shunned, cast out, dropped, dumped, forgotten, neglected, rejected, and/or dejected. You are the sole reason I have written this book. You are also the inspiration for my every breath. This is not a book for me. It is a mission and a movement. My greatest wish is to see everyone in the world living as happy, healthy, esteemed beings, free from hate, free from fear, free from abuse and despair. Both Gary and I would like to extend our sincere thanks to everyone who helped us produce this book, particularly Suzanne Stazak Silva and Denny Remsburg at Roman and Littlefield. Additionally, we are grateful to Nora Gray, Brooke Walker, Mary L. Holden, Dr. Jeffrey Fannin, Dee Dee Wong, and Ilana Krebs, as well as Margot, Tiffany, Debbie, Delisha, Pat, Lisa, Heidi, Selena, Kate, and Peter, whose names have been changed out of respect for their privacy. Introduction. You deserve to look good and feel good right now. Some books simply have to be written. I originally started out writing this book for me, to help me understand myself better. Shortly after jotting down some notes, I realized that I was writing a book for you. Whether you're a student, working mom, small business owner, corporate executive, salesperson, teacher, factory worker, engineer, artist, hairstylist, real estate agent, waitress, or anything else, this book is about something inside of you, an inner strength and power you've always had, but that ended up buried deep inside your being. No doubt you are someone who works hard, lives, and loves. You try to do it all and do it well, carrying all of the burdens for your family. Perhaps along with managing your career and home life, you've been caring for an ill family member, such as a significant other, parent, or child. Or maybe you've been coping with your own physical ailments and emotional traumas, along with supporting everyone else's. Listeners like you are the exceptional people of today. You have accomplished many great things against all odds. You know full well the value of people and things, and yet the world has been on your shoulders and beaten you down so much for so long you're no longer sure of your own worth. Perhaps you've taken a few lumps over the years from your family, your spouse or significant other, your job or your community. No wonder you aren't satisfied or happy with all of that constant pressure. It occurs to you that you should feel proud of everything that you've accomplished and what you do every single day. You deserve to look good, feel good, enjoy life, and be happy. And yet, inexplicably, you don't. A moment comes. Maybe it's right after your divorce. Maybe your last child has moved away from home. Maybe you've recently had to place your parent in a retirement facility. Or maybe you're just in a rut at your job. You look in the mirror. What do you see? Do you start to count the wrinkles? One woman might see her wrinkles purely as signs of age and sadness. Another woman, the same exact age, might interpret those lines as sparkles of experience and wisdom. What's the difference between these women? The first sees the past and years of living as hardships. The second views the same number of years as signs of accomplishment and lessons learned to share with others. Which of these two women is happier and will go on to accomplish even greater things? The obvious answer is number 2. Here's the shocker. For years, I related more to number one because I was in that boat right along with her. For many years, despite having a successful career as an international model and actress, I was the woman who secretly viewed her life as a half-empty, cracked glass. It's well documented that many people in the public eye can't seem to handle the stress of fame and recognition. All you have to do is look at the tabloids to find out about the latest star who has been arrested or checked into rehab. Models, actresses, and anyone who has slinked down the runway, graced the Broadway stage, or glittered across the big screen may seem super confident and glamorous on the outside, but are often frail, anxious, and nervous people on the inside. I've had a bird's eye view of many modeling and acting sensations soaring to astronomical heights and then tumbling down because they didn't have a strong inner foundation of self-esteem. I'm not in any way glamorizing celebrity or its pitfalls. I don't pretend that models and entertainers are any better than anyone else, suffer more, or require extra sympathy. In fact, we're all just like you, in spite of how confidently we present and flaunt ourselves. Speaking for myself, this is what I can say. Like you, I have had more than my share of hard knocks and insecurities going back to my childhood. I can't say whether my self-esteem issues were innate, ingrained in me by others, a result of circumstances, or a combination of all these factors. I was a relatively quiet and reserved girl, but I had big dreams. When I was granted permission and the house was peaceful, I watched classic old films featuring starlets like Ava Gardner and Rita Hayworth. Oh, how I loved them. I wanted to be them. When I was chosen for the role of Mary Poppins in the kindergarten play, I became certain that one day I would have a shot at starring in the movies too. Alas, the looks that brought me my first star turn didn't last long. I regressed from a cute 5-year-old into a lanky, flat-chested adolescent with buck teeth and protruding ears. Don't believe me? I have the pictures to prove it. Mirror, mirror. My life went straight downhill from there. I never thought I would be pretty. I didn't even think anyone would ever want to look at me. My dreams of being in the movies faded with every passing year. Little by little, my looks improved. In my case, the cliché was true. I blossomed from an ugly duckling into a swan and started to get noticed. Before I knew it, I was being hired for modeling assignments. I moved to Italy in the 1980s and became one of the top runway models in the world, along with such icons as Iman and Jerry Hall. I appeared on more than 100 magazine covers and even had my own cosmetics counter at Bloomingdale's for a decade. I was in high demand for ad campaigns with Revlon, Helena Rubinstein, Dior, and many others. My acting career soon followed. I was making money and living a glamorous lifestyle I'd never dreamed possible. What could possibly go wrong? Tripping on the runway of life. Everything went wrong. The problem? I didn't believe that I deserved any of my success. Somewhere buried deep down, I still felt like that ugly duckling and that someone was going to out me as a fraud. On top of that, I was ill-equipped to find my way on my own in the real world, and I was an easy target. Relationships with men were difficult and painful. Sure, these guys wanted a pretty model on their arms, but they didn't care to know a thing about me and certainly didn't love me. Come to think of it, did I even feel like I deserved to be loved? I placed all of the blame on myself and faced my first major depression at 26 years of age. I searched everywhere for answers, reading every self-help book I could find. Then I had a revelation. The regime to the rescue. One day, when I was in the midst of producing the Miss Universe pageant, I looked around and noticed something. Many of these beautiful women standing around me were suffering from the same self-esteem issues that I was. I started speaking with girls and women outside the modeling and entertainment industries, all sizes, shapes, looks, ethnicities, professions, and social and economic statuses around the world, and discovered that they too were struggling to feel confident and good about themselves. Aha, I realized. Low self-esteem is universal. Like many women, I had been placing all of my self-worth on my physical appearance and how I thought others viewed me. But how does a person reverse negative self-perception that is so ingrained in the psyche? It would take a hard-edged approach to counter all of the noise in my head and years of baggage. It was like I needed a military sergeant in my head to shout at me and drill out all of the swirling negative thoughts. Through trial and error, I developed a comprehensive program for myself that provided answers and solutions. At long last, I could look at myself in the mirror without worrying that a monkey was going to jump out at me. I felt good about my reflection and the person I had become. Unfortunately, as I became more self-assured, confident, and strong, I continued to feel empty. I knew something was still missing. What about all of the women I had encountered over the years who were grappling with low self-esteem? I felt compelled to reach out, share my discoveries, and embark on an all-out mission to help others. The Self-Esteem Regime was born. You deserve to look good and feel good right now. The 4 pillars. Although I had created my regime by accident, you have the opportunity to complete it with intent and purpose. My goal is to help you to break through the personal obstacles, defeat your inner demons, and feel good about yourself. You deserve to achieve everything your heart desires and more. Before you experience your personal rebirth, I would like to introduce you to what I refer to as the 4 pillars for living an esteemed life. I suggest you turn this invaluable credo into a screensaver on your phone or print it out and tape it to your laptop or computer screen. I can't emphasize how valuable these 4 pillars will be to begin your reinvention. Look good, feel good, be good, greater good. Repeat these to yourself several times a day, especially when you're feeling less than whole. Look good. When you truly believe you look good, you know it. This feeling shows through and does wonders for your self-esteem. With this mindset, you can strut into public like you're a runway model. Color, proportion, and personal style all play a big part in your overall look. When I was a beauty editor, I scoured beauty trade shows for the latest and the greatest information to nurture inner beauty, which extends to outward beauty. Feel good. You can't look good if you don't feel good, right? Proper diet and exercise are critical in helping you feel fantastic and more energetic. If you treat your body right, you will look good and your mind will respond right back with positive thoughts. Be good. We all want our best in our business and personal lives. Continuing education and learning are paramount to living an esteemed life. This doesn't mean browsing TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, or any other social media flavor of the day. I'm not suggesting you can't be active in social media in small doses, but often the posts of others offer misinformation or waste your precious time and rot our brain cells on trivial matters. Worse, some posts, apps, and quizzes have the opposite impact on self-esteem, causing you to feel like you aren't measuring up to others or living the exciting lives of the people in your social network. Being good is what you do to enrich your mind and soul. You can be good to yourself by doing simple activities such as yoga, going for walks, meditating, reading books, joining a reading group, and many other fun things we'll discuss. Greater good. Last, but certainly not least, there is no greater boost for your self-esteem than doing something good for someone else. It's remarkable how good a person feels when helping others out by volunteering, tithing, donating 1/10 of your earnings, and teaching others. There are so many wonderful ways to give back, which we'll cover in the final chapter of the regime. How tough is the self-esteem regime? The self-esteem regime will make you mentally and emotionally tough, but you have no worries in terms of the demands it will make on you. The intention is for the regime to be enlightening and empowering, but by no means is it grueling in the military sense. The prefix "re" is a vital component of this book. By definition, "re" originates from ancient Latin and connotes occurring again or again and again to indicate repetition. Since for many people the human brain is wired at birth and molded during the development years to think in a certain way, we cling to perspectives that may not be true but end up being sustained as fact because our thinking has become rigid. By aggressively targeting poor self-perception and blasting negative thoughts with reverse concepts over and over, the mind gets a reboot and the universe opens up through a new light. This barrage of mental assertions, which ultimately become new, sustainable thought, is the revolutionary essence of my regime. Through a dozen progressive building steps comprising a regime and emphasizing the re-concept, you will discover newfound power, energy, confidence, and happiness. Release, rebuild, responsibility, replace, reaffirm, reinvent, reinforce, repeat, rebound, redirect, respect, reciprocal. By the end of this book, you will become so recharged and revitalized that you will be able to build a powerful regime of your own to reign over. How you regard your self-image, how you are viewed by others, and how you can convert your newfound respect into success. My mission is to help you optimize the way you look, how you feel about yourself, and how you handle yourself in all interactions. You deserve to become happier, healthier, and more prosperous. You deserve to be in total control of your destiny. By incorporating these concepts into your life, you will become the person everyone looks at in awe each and every time you enter the room. Chapter 1. Release. The time has come to lay that baggage down and leave behind all the struggling and striving. Sue Augustine, author. Margot is a bright, friendly, and attractive college graduate. Despite her gifts, her lack of social skills and sensitive nature have made it difficult for her to sustain friendships over the years. Throughout junior high, high school, and college, Margot inadvertently said and texted things that upset her friends. As a result, they stopped responding to her and literally unfriended her. Margot lands her first full-time job in a completely different state where she doesn't know anyone and feels she can have a fresh start. At work, people treat her respectfully, but no one seems interested in a friendship with her. Margot is too shy and bookish to initiate conversations that are unrelated to job functions. In the evening, she finds herself alone and afraid. She thinks about all the times over the years her so-called friends never returned her calls and texts. She pictures her most embarrassing moments with girls from junior high and high school and berates herself. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Why did I say those things? Will Margot ever release herself from the past? We live in a tough world. No doubt you have felt some anger, frustration, disillusionment, or disappointment in your life. It's compounded by our social and political climate in which racial diatribes and name-calling have become the norm. What are your beliefs about life and yourself in this moment? Are they working for you? Have you fulfilled all of your dreams? Do you have the career you want? Are you unhappy with how you look, perhaps your weight? Could you be making healthier choices? Are there relationships in your life, romantic partners, siblings, parents, children, extended family, friends, co-workers, and so on, making you happy and healthy or bringing you down? If not, it's obvious that the old way of doing things isn't working for you anymore. You may be stuck like Margot, the young woman introduced at the beginning of this chapter. Her story is truly heartbreaking. Although there is nothing wrong with being an introvert and focusing on me time, it's also not healthy to feel alone, helpless, and buried in the past, the same patterns repeating over and over. As we are now in the first stage of the regime, it's time for Margot and you to release some baggage. Most of the things from our past that continue to bother us and fester serve no purpose other than to hold us back. They are detrimental to moving forward and often result in low self-esteem. It's time for you to get rid of old habits and confining feelings and start anew. It may be comforting for you to know that very few people's lives are perfectly in order. Take heart in the fact that you are not alone. Many of the people you see as having their acts together are probably just pretending. I'm not going to sugarcoat things and say everything is perfectly fine and hunky-dory in your life and the world at large. There's a lot of garbage out there. Reminders of the past continue to pop up and haunt us. New stressors constantly surface. But you must learn to control the controllables. That is, the things within your world that you can change and influence while ignoring the rest, and release negative thought patterns that restrict you and hold you back. You need to wipe that slate clean and start anew, pretending today is the start of a new year. Take a leap of faith that all will be okay. Let's get started. We are all imperfect. Do you remember the popular girls in junior high and high school? They were cheerleaders, had hunky boyfriends on the football team, wore trendy clothes, and seemed to always know the right things to say. They seemed happy, at least on the surface. Do you believe their fantasy school facades extended to their private lives? Do you think they didn't have insecurities of their own and embarrassing secrets that they kept hidden? Do you think they kept their looks over the years, went on to earn fame and fortune, and lived happily ever after in the burbs with their high school jock sweethearts? Chances are this scenario is far from the case. Everyone faces challenges, heartaches, and stumbling blocks at one time or another. The girls you thought had it all back in junior high and high school experienced their own set of issues and neuroses. How do I know this as fact? Because everyone does. I don't offer this to become high and mighty about the downfalls and struggles of people from your past, even those whom you think deserve it because they mistreated you in some way. It may feel good to be smug for a while, but that's not the path to strong self-esteem. If anything, you should forgive them for what they did to you, whether their harmful behaviors were intentional or not. You don't know the full story of what they went through in the past, and it's entirely possible that they have changed their ways and matured over the years. Perhaps they even regret some of the remarks and detrimental behaviors towards you, or having ignored or dropped you entirely. Most importantly, by acknowledging that the people you viewed as sitting atop Mount Olympus were, and are, imperfect mere mortals, you release the demons that have haunted you over the years. No one is perfect, no one has led the perfect life, no one has made the perfect decisions, and no one is without sin. You shouldn't expend an ounce of energy comparing yourself to anyone, past or present, especially if it means belittling yourself. Margot, the young woman cited earlier, may have made some unintentional mistakes in the past. So what? The so-called friends who had ghosted her were shallow and therefore not worth their salt. They didn't get Margot, and it's their loss. True friends not only look after each other, but they also see past their faults and love and support each other anyway. If you are in any way like Margot, it is time to find the kindness in your heart to forgive and release. You must let go of those who caused you pain and stop being afraid the new people you encounter will treat you the same way. Why assume they would cause you harm? They don't know a thing about you. You always have a chance to start over with a clean slate as long as you have purged your own baggage. We all have the light in us, and no one in the world has the right to extinguish it. Give yourself the gift of forgiveness. Whatever you said or did in the past to lose friendships was probably not nearly as bad as you think. As for Margot, it is time for her to live and enjoy life to the fullest. I don't expect her to become an extrovert overnight, or even believe she needs hordes of friends to feel good about herself and fill her void. A couple of true, reliable friends who appreciate her for the person she is would be more than enough. Yet, Margot must recognize that the break room at work is not the school cafeteria and that no one will embarrass or drop her like her former so-called friends. She can sit at a table and have a casual cup of coffee with a colleague, or even ask her if she wants to go out for a quick drink after work when it's mutually convenient. I don't know any respectable adult who would ever say no to such a harmless, friendly invite, especially from a sweet, one-of-a-kind person like Margot. Sensitive people are strong people. Some of Margot's social issues are fairly common among highly sensitive people, HSP, a term coined by Elaine N. Aaron, Ph.D. It's estimated that 15 to 20% of people are highly sensitive to varying degrees, whether diagnosed or not. As it happens, HSP is something I share in common with Margot. I found it to be a great comfort when I discovered that some of the unusual things that I had been experiencing were medically explainable. I cannot tolerate bright lights or any kind of loud noises, from pounding music to barking dogs to crying babies. I have difficulty with scents, too. I can't be in a restaurant where there are pungent smells or smoke in the air. For this reason, I won't cook in my own home. I am also extremely sensitive to touch, especially on my scalp. This extends to emotional reactions as well. My senses won't tolerate any kind of scary movie, and I admit to not having seen one since 1979. You can imagine how all this made my life difficult as a model and actress. Bright camera lights always caused some measure of trauma. Loud music at events and shows caused...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?